Holy moly. Whoa. I just found a massive, oh no, massive obsidian point. Oh, look at this. Hello, D-Rock here. Welcome to the channel. The Great Basin Desert. This geographic area encompasses most of Nevada, as well as occupying pieces of California, Oregon, Idaho, and Utah. 8 to 13,000 years ago, the Great Basin Desert was quite different than what it is today. Cooler, with abundant wetlands, as well as huge bodies of water such as Lake Bonneville in Utah and Lake Lahontan, which covered a large portion of Nevada. During the time period of these enormous lakes and vast wetlands, a culture existed known as the Western Stem tradition. The Western Stem tradition paralleled the Clovis culture, and perhaps it is intertwined, but the lithic technology differs from the Clovis. One key element in discerning projectile points from this particular culture is the noticeable stem at the base of projectile points, hence the name Western Stem tradition. So that's what I'm searching for on this trip, on and around what would have been shorelines at the edges of these ancient bodies of water and wetlands, hoping to find artifacts from a culture that existed alongside the mammoths and giant ground sloths, and not only hunted, but probably were preyed upon by insane animals like the saber-toothed cat and short-faced bear. Life during the Western Stem tradition was no doubt exhilarating. So please join me as I head out into the desert to discover what once was. Buenos dias. Chilly morning in the high desert. I'm just under 6,000 feet. And we're out today on the edge of what probably, more than likely, was an ancient lake, wetland, marshland, some 10 to 12,000 years ago. Last ice age. Long time ago. There were people out here. Hunters-gatherers. There was a culture. The culture was, if I find artifacts from that culture, it kind of goes under something known as the Western Stemmed tradition. That's the style of projectile point, and those points have a stem at the base. So that's what I'm looking for today. I'm trying to find evidence of that Ice Age ancient lake culture that existed here a very long time ago. This is the time period when there are huge bodies of water in the western states like Utah and Nevada, like bodies of water that almost encompass the entire state, 1,000 feet deep, just basically inland oceans. They were just enormous. And cultures lived along the banks of these lakes, and they hunted and of course utilized all the resources. So it was an interesting time period. The Western Stem tradition is thought to overlap with the Clovis culture as well. Whether they are the same or separate or whatnot, I don't know. This time period is also kind of known as the Paleo-Indian period, or some may refer to it as Paleo-Archaic. Like I said, this goes back quite some time. I guess it's just easier to put it in that slot of 8,000 to 13,000 years ago. It's you know, it's a long time ago. But anyway, I have found stemmed points out here made of obsidian. That's the material that I come across a lot in this part of the desert, the higher desert, more to the north. Obsidian seems to be a preferred material. It's accessible because there's obsidian quarries around here, so that's where they were getting the material from. So that's what I'm hoping to find today. I haven't been out here in a while, so I wanted to come out. And it's cold, like I mentioned, so we don't have any worries of rattlesnakes. We can pretty much wander where we want. But I'm just going to kind of wander like right on the edge. This would have been probably, you know, shoreline up as I come up in elevation into this area. People would have hunted this area. They would have stayed on the shorelines around. As I gesture with my hand here, you can see my fingertips point to that lower elevation. That's where could have been a possible wetland, marshland, body of water. So they would have been around the edges of these bodies of water. Animals would have been there, resources, you know, all those things. So we're going to just do what we usually do when we come out here and search the land. This is the time suck. This takes a long time. Sometimes most of the time we don't find anything. And it's just basically a game of chance, you know, if we get lucky. So that's what we're up to today. Hopefully we come across something interesting. We've got lots of walking to do and we'll see what we come across. So join us. So when I come out and do my searching, I just try and think logically, where would I have, you know, where would I have been? I would have stayed up on high points so I could see. I would have been out here with my compañeros, my amigos, my friends, my fellow people. We would have together tried to ambush animals. You know, it would have been a group thing. So someone scares animal from the other side, flushing them into where I'm at so I could toss atlatls, darts, whatever at them. So I just try and think of things as a hunter would, and that's where I search. And like I just mentioned, a lot of times we don't find anything. You may be also wondering, how could something be on the surface from 12,000 years ago? Well, you can see the ground here. It's really hard and rocky. So I'm also in an area, like I mentioned, high desert. It's sparsely vegetated. It's not like just covered in vegetation like, say, eastern woodland. Winds, rain, just elements out here. It's just constant. The terrain is always changing. And since the vegetation is sparse, everything moves. So things get brought up, things get uncovered, things get recovered, and it just goes on and on like that. So that's how it's possible out here to come across something that old, say on the surface, which is where I can only search. I can only look on the surface legally. So that's how it's possible. And it's just absolutely fascinating. So, you know, we get some walking in and hopefully we come across something. I go to a high point here, get a look around. People would have hung out on high points to watch for things, watch for animals, watch for other people. So I'll check out the high points here, and yeah, we'll keep looking. Maybe we'll come across some area that has some lithic material or obvious indications of tool making. So you can see how I'm on the edge, right on the edge of this vast expanse of high desert as it comes up into elevation. And as I'm motioning with my hand, this whole area where I'm pointing at was more than likely an ancient lake bed. It's kind of hard to wrap your mind around sometimes. But the climate out here, say at that time period, 10 to 12,000 years ago, 8 to 13,000 years ago, that slot, it was very different than what it is now. It's colder, wetter, just, yeah, completely different. And nothing at the top except a pretty cool view, so we're gonna make our way down and do a little more walking in this area before moving someplace different. Well, I was just about to say I have not come across any flakes, and then I happened to look down, found a piece of obsidian. All right. Okay, this is debitage, nappings, flint napping, lithic material. This indicates tool processing was going on. I'm at a nice level section. I've come down from that high point. I'm at a level section, kind of out of the wind. This might have been a good spot. Is that another piece right there? Yep, there's more obsidian flaking. All right, someone was here. Yeah, getting warmer. Here's more. Well, someone was definitely in this secluded spot here, working on a tool. Maybe they were chasing game up to higher points, or waiting for someone to go that way and someone to go that way and chase an animal this way. You know, all those things. Ooh, here's a good spot. There's obsidian flaking. There's more here. There's some jutting out of the ground. There's some coming out of the ground at the base of this tree. Sapling, I should say. Yeah, there's quite a bit of it in this area here. Right on. Well, here's the rock formation. I'm just gonna have a look around this and then probably head somewhere else. Well, we definitely found indication that people were in the area processing stone tools, but no artifacts. Nothing up near this rock formation. Well, everything we've come across has been down in that drainage. That's interesting. Another thing people like to hang out on that I've discovered are these saddles right here. Kind of this nice level spot between high points. Like there's this high point, then of course the high point behind me. Usually these little saddles are nice and level. Good spots to just kind of hunker down and have a look around, maybe work on some tools. So a lot of times I'll find evidence of people like right in the middle of this saddle here, where they maybe had a small, I can't really say a camp, but definitely they were there, because a lot of times it's just in this uneven topography here, you know, it's just up and down. This is the spot in all of it where it's just level, where you could just kind of kick back and relax. And a lot of times it's not rocky, it's like nice deep soft sand. So this is ideal spots for a possible, you know, a hunting camp, something that would move. But we'll just stop and have a look in this area before we make our way back down. Nothing up here on this saddle, so I'll start making my way back on down, and then we're going to try a different area. So I've come down from the hilltops and the drainage is opened up, and I'm kind of in just a a big flat area, a more level area, I should say, and I'm into quite a bit of lithic material. I haven't really been filming most of it because you can only get so interested in just pieces of flaked obsidian, but as I'm pointing out right here, it's become abundant. So what does that tell me? Tells me, and it's like all in this area. So perhaps there was a camp here, a seasonal hunting camp, anything of that nature. If we're going back that far in time, there wouldn't have been like sedentary communities, you know. People weren't farming. Well, it's thought that people weren't farming between 10, 12,000 years ago out here. I mean, anything's possible, right? More than likely, it was like seasonal hunting camps as people followed resources. And I honestly don't have any way of telling how old the lithic material is. So this could be, you know, a couple hundred years old, or it could be 1,000, it could be 5,000, it could be 10,000. I have no way of knowing, to be honest with you. The only way I could really get an idea of how old something is if I came across a point and was able to identify it. So that's about the only way. But we are finding evidence, lots of evidence, as we're seeing right here more, that there's quite a bit of tool processing going on in this area. So I'm going to take a minute and just kind of search the area, and maybe we'll come across something interesting. You can see the lithic material jutting out of the ground. Yeah. So everything that I'm coming across has been uncovered by the elements, wind, rain, water runoff, and all that stuff. Oh, got a piece of chert right here. Ground. What is this? Oh man, yeah. That's the base of something. Let's go for a close-up. All right, I think this is probably the base of something. Huh, that was almost buried. A little bit of it was sticking out the ground there. You can see how it fractured right there. So this might have been, you know, that big. Can't say. The material is interesting, considering all I've been finding is obsidian, and then I find some of this. You can kind of see that edge there. Well, all right. It's an artifact, okay. I mean, it's not intact, but no way to really tell what it is since most of it's gone. Sorry, my other camera turned off. Anyway, that's pretty interesting. So we'll just put it back where we found it. Here's the base of something else. Can't get too close to this camera, doesn't really focus. But you can see where it fractured off here. It probably would have been out to here. I'm not certain, but it looks like it's been well shaped. God, I wish I could have seen that hole anyway. And then right beside that is some perhaps chert. Yeah, we're getting hot now. Where I'm walking, all this is kind of a drainage where water has continually just flowed down and uncovered all this stuff. So it might be pretty old, to be honest with you. And when I pull up pieces of obsidian and they're shiny, you got to remember that obsidian is volcanic glass. So whatever's exposed, it doesn't take long out here with the wind, the blowing winds and sand. It's going to polish that. That's why it's so shiny. It looks like it's brand new. So here's a close-up of something I just came across in this drainage right here. That is really interesting. That's been shaped like that. Look at this. What do you suppose that was used for? And it was notched out right there. You can see how that was tapped out. So it was shaped this way. And obviously it broke off here, so I don't know what the larger, you know, what it would have been. It's really interesting. Very interesting. What do you guys think? Any ideas? So once again, let me just point out, you can see the path water takes here as it makes its way down. It's cutting, of course, this out, and it's uncovering pieces of obsidian here. It's either uncovering it or washing it down, but as you can see, path here. So yeah, I wish there was a way to get an idea of how old that is, but if it's, you know, a foot deep and it's been uncovered, I don't know what that says, but all I know is people were here. We got an artifact right here. We're going to get in for a close-up. Yeah, nice. All right, here we go. Let's have a look. Oh, yes. Yes. Look at that. Oh, man. Just the tip is broken off. Wow, that's a unique piece there. Huh. Now I could be wrong, but I'm maybe presuming this is a stem here. If that's the case, that's an old piece there. Wow. Oh. I'm under the impression that this is a stemmed piece, a Western stem tradition. Because that would be the tip right up there that popped off. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not 100% certain. I'm not a professional at identifying these things. But I'm just presuming this is the base of the artifact. And this is the stem. And that's what would be the point or top of the artifact that's been broken off. You know, when I hold it up at this angle, this is totally a piece with the stem. The stem's been broken. You can see right there. The top's broken and then the stem's broken. Yep. Wow. Okay, this is a very old piece here. See, now you can see, perhaps. If I have this correct, this is definitely a stemmed projectile point, thus making it very, very old. So they, if this is indeed what I'm thinking it is, then this dates back to what a lot of professionals think were the first peoples. So that would go under the Paleo-Indian, Paleo-Archaic times, you know, at the end of the last ice age. This is fascinating. Yeah, look at that, see? Where the base there just kind of nicked off. This is definitely a stemmed piece. I feel that way with the missing top there. Oh, that's great. That's awesome. That was awesome. Man, well, we're going to stay out here for a little bit longer. Might come across something else. That totally made my day. Holy moly. Whoa. I just found a massive, oh no, massive obsidian point. Oh, look at this. Oh, we're definitely going in for a close-up. Oh, man. Oh, look at this. Oh, my goodness. Oh, wow. Look at that piece. Look at how big that is in my hand. Wow. Biface. Oh, no. Give you an idea of how big this point is. Wow. That is incredible. Woo. So, Like I mentioned earlier in the video, the reason why this is polished is because this side has been exposed to the elements for some time once it was uncovered. So it's just sat here and it's just been, it's just experienced lots of wind and rain, sand blowing across it, so it polished it off. You turn it over to the other side that was in the dirt, you see it's a lot more dull. But this is an incredible find. Man, how big do you suppose that was? Wow, that is absolutely incredible. Look at that. Wow. Oh my goodness. Where's the sun at? There we go. Look at that. Oh, that's a beautiful piece. That is a beautiful piece. It's that was one serious artifact. I've been looking for a piece like that for a long time up in the high desert, a big obsidian point. So it's, I knew they were producing them. A lot of the videos I made back in the summertime with all the obsidian lithics I was getting into, I knew those they had to be making big points. And we just found one. It's absolutely incredible. Yeah, yeah. If only he could talk, man. Woo! Wow, that was something else. We're really getting into it. We got a nice piece right here. I believe the base is notched, so we're gonna go in for a close-up. All right, there we go. Oh man, look at that. Wow. Whew. That is just incredible. Wow, 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 wow. Whew, well, I can't exactly say that's a stem. That's definitely got some notching there. It's a kind of a unique, seems a lot more narrow than like say an Elko point. So this is a thick piece. Yeah, I'll have to do some research on this one. Feel free to chime in, viewers, in the comments what you think. That's a pretty sweet piece there. Of course, missing the tip. Man, wow, that is just incredible. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Wow. Fantastic day of finding artifacts. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. So I found a lot of lithic material all along the way as I've made my way to this cliff base here that I'm pointing at. And then in this general area of the cliff base, there's a pretty good concentration of points. Dart points, atlatl, knife point, I don't know. So a hunt was going on here, or maybe a fight was going on. Can't say. Maybe neither of those, who knows. One thing's for certain is I believe I found that first point over here, that stemmed point. That's probably pretty old. What I believe to be stemmed anyway. Anyway, the others were definitely exceptional also. It's been a fascinating day. So I found stuff wherever I went, and it's just interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Lots to think about. Anyway, folks, I'm going to start making my way back. As always, thank you very much for watching. I've got lots more content on the way. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. It is free. It helps the channel tremendously. We'll see you next time. D-Rock out. Adios.